Yeah, so then, fast forward to the 222 tournament. And you go in and there's about 36,000 people in attendance each day. How do you mentally deal with that? Does that add, any pressure to you walking out there? Or is it just another day at the office for you? Are you nervous at all? Or
You definitely feel some butterflies, especially when there's a big crowd and it's loud and there's bright lights and things can be kind of bizarre. But I actually and this is really simple and it's kind of a cliche, but I think some of the best advice I ever got was from one of our assistant coach here, Casey Cunningham. He's like really legendary. I don't know if you know much about wrestling, but he's one of the best coaches in the world. And he said, just when you're feeling that, just be yourself. So that's something I try to remind myself. And then, Coach Kale says all the time, just be present. Um, so, just trying to, it's like, yeah, like it feels a little weird being here and there's a big crowd and you're about to compete for something that you've really wanted your entire life, but just making sure that you're being true to who you are in that moment and being present and uh, making sure that you put your best self out there. Because at the end of the day, win or lose, what you're really going to regret is if you don't feel like I mean, these are just such cliches, but if you don't feel like you gave your best.
is that, like you said, it is something you've worked your entire life for? Is that something you keep telling yourself, like you think back to, or do you try to just blend it out and just focus on your opponent, try to stay as neutral as possible, or do you keep reminding yourself like this is the moment we've been working for?
No, I think when you're about to go out and compete, it's actually just better to not really have a lot on your mind.
Yeah.
So I think um, I'm a pretty cerebral guy. I'm a pretty deep thinker. So those are things that I'll think about at night. And um, I like overall in my life, what I would really like for at the end of my life is to know that I was true to who I was as a young kid, but also be able to look myself in the eye when I'm an old man. But it's totally different when you're going to go compete. You don't need to be having these deep thoughts, or you've already done all the preparation, and if you've mentally prepared the right way, then you've saved your energy and you haven't drained yourself stressing about all these little things or winning. And then when it's time to go out and go to war, I think it's just a lot better to just keep it really calm and be free and like I said, be present.
So then you win, obviously, in the final, in front of that crowd, and it's a very emotional moment for you and your family. The cameras are on you and your family. Your mom is crying, your brother's in tears, and you jump into your brother's arms. So what goes through your mind in that moment after winning? Is there any words to describe the feeling that you feel? All the work has paid off, what you've been thinking about, what you've been visualizing for so long, what you've been training for so long for, is there finally. Is there any way to describe what you're feeling in that moment?
Uh yeah, I mean, it's really satisfying. um but more than I'm not really thinking about anything that I did. I'm really just more on my mind is all the people throughout my whole life that have poured into me um to help me get there, because I've had so many amazing and selfless people, from coaches to teammates to my mom and dad and my brother. Um, every time that I compete, I mean, it's an individual sport and you walk on the mat alone, but truly, really, I feel like I'm less than 1% of the effort that's gone into me being ready or prepared to go out and try and win that match. And with so many people that have never even asked for anything in return. And so obviously the first people that come to mind are the ones that have been with you your entire life. And my dad and my mom and my brother, it's hard to really do it justice putting into words like how much they've given to me, just to help, just purely for me, just to help me try and accomplish my own dreams. And so to get that done, not that they need me to win or lose, they love me either way, but to be able to share that moment with them is really special.
Yeah, and you say that in the interview too. when the interview asked you what your brother said to you, and you said that he'll be proud of me either way. And it's a very yeah, beautiful moment you guys share, and you can see how much it really means to your brother as well. So what's next for you? You still got a year of eligibility. What's the next step in your wrestling career?
So yeah, I've got 1 year, collegiate eligibility and school left. So
Mhm.
I'm here. I'm back at Penn State and State College right now. I'm just training. I think our first match is like mid-November, so we're about a month away still. But just getting ready for the season to start, and who knows? Things are unpredictable, but hopefully, go win another individual and team NCAA title. I
Yeah.
think there's. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I think there's a really good chance that um, after I graduate this year, I'll stick around and train with the club. But there's conversations I still need to have with my coaches and my family, and my wife, and make decisions based on what's best for everybody. But I definitely feel like I'm still improving, and I have a lot left to give in this sport. And I love being a part of the Penn State wrestling program, and the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club is their kind of Olympic club here that trains with us. And um, I mean, we're really lucky here. They've got a lot of great resources to help us succeed. So I'm not in any rush to get out of here, but I am excited to wrap up school. This is my 7th year post high school, and sometimes I'm sitting in class. I'm like, I can't believe I'm still doing this. So it'll be good to finish up and get my degree.
Yeah. How does it, obviously after winning this year, how does that affect you? You don't strike me as the type of guy to be satisfied and lay back on your training, but does it impact you in any way? Having won the title, does it maybe motivate you more to say, I want to do it twice and show it wasn't just a one-time thing? Or does it maybe just take some of the pressure off that you previously felt? How does it impact you?
Yeah, I definitely don't feel any less motivated. And I do think it probably takes a little bit of pressure off, but I think I also would say that maybe what's motivating me has changed. Last year, and it's really important to have values. So, whether and for me, I try to keep those away from winning or losing. I want to prepare really well. I want to compete fearlessly. Um, there's just a lot of ways that I want to live my life that should come before winning or losing. That being said, before you've won an NCAA title, it's like, man, I really just want, I really just want to win. So,
Yeah.
I left kind of last season thinking that I had a lot more to give. Even though I had won, which was awesome, and the satisfaction is fleeting. It's after a couple of days of celebrating and eating junk food and hanging out, you're like, all right, that's over now. It's time to move on to what's next. Um, so yeah, I definitely don't feel satisfied, but I think now more than anything, I'm just motivated by just trying to see how good at this I can get. Um, I feel like sometimes in my past when I've competed, I've had a lot more skills and ways to score and dominate than I've put on display. And I think for this year, I just really want to, there's a lot of great competitors. I don't want to disrespect anybody, and I'm sure that I'll have tough opponents. But I want to just see like how good of a product I can put out there, because I think it's better than what I've been doing. And just to compete fearlessly, and not really carry any baggage around with me. And um, it's felt good so far, but we'll see what happens when I start competing.
Yeah, we'll be excited to see. So, one question that I feel like some wrestlers might be annoyed with by now, but do you consider any career in MMA in the future, or will it always be wrestling?
It's probably not for me. Not to give a lame answer. A lot of my teammates are getting into that, kind of into that. There's a guy that trains wrestling with us still, but he's an MMA fighter now that kind of just signed a contract with the UFC named Bo Nickel. Um,
Uh,
and I think he's doing well. But I just for a variety of reasons, I'm really interested. I've loved wrestling, and I'm not ready to be done yet. But when I am done, I think I'd like to do something else other than just trying to be a combat athlete. There's other things I'm interested in. And also, I'm the type of person that it takes me a long time to get good at stuff. So, that's been true for wrestling, for, gosh, anything. So I'm thinking, well, if it's going to take me a long time to get good at MMA, what does that look like? That's probably a lot of getting punched in the face and a lot of getting beat up and brain damage and stuff. Huge credit to what MMA fighters. That stuff's really hard because wrestling on its own is complicated, and then you're going to take that and you're going to add 4 different layers of different mixed martial arts and striking and timing, and it's really, I find it really impressive, and I like to watch it. I just don't think that a career in it would probably work out that well for me. Um, and I don't know if my wife would go for it either. She'd probably she might put her foot down on that one. So
Yeah. So the last question that I have for you, which we kind of want to ask our guests here, is what's on the Max Dean playlist? What kind of tracks do you listen to when you train or pre-competition? What goes through your ears?
oh man, I'm a big classic and alternative rock guy. I love like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blink 182, or even go back to like the Eagles and Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stone. There's just that music, the electric guitar. Uh, just really love that type of music. So, um, man, I guess I like that for everything. When I'm relaxing, when I'm training, when I'm doing anything pre-competition. So when I'm like traveling to a tournament or we're walking in, I'll listen to some music. But usually right before my matches, I don't listen to anything, just because I feel like it kind of distracts me a little bit. And um, but I do love having these. Knockdown. These are the best. They're just so nice. They're so easy to pop in, whether I'm heading to class or going down to train, or and I use them a lot while we do a lot of biking and circuits and stuff here. So I've been using them during that. I'd say my go-to song right now is probably "Freebird" by Leonard Skinner. It's like hard to beat that guitar riff, but
Yeah,
and I like everything. I like rap and country, but I think I'd have to say alternative rock is probably my favorite genre.
that's awesome, man. Well, thank you. That's all the questions we have. So thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. I think your story is incredibly inspirational. I think a lot of wrestlers and athletes in general can learn a lot from it. So yeah, I just really love hearing stories like that. I could bug you with questions about this all day. So yeah, again, thank you for joining us, and we hope to have you in the future on again over here.
Yeah, hey, pleasure's all mine. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on, and it was great getting to chat with you.